You hear quarterbacks griping and bitching and moaning in the huddle because, we might punch them a little bit on the ground or gouge their eyes a little bit or put dirt in their face or something. You don't hear Unitas don't say nothing. He wipe the dirt off his eyes and he come right back and throw one on you.
You could hit him, you could knock him down, you could break his nose, he'd get right back up and come back.
Sometimes they'd hit him and his finger would come up pointing this way and he wouldn't even come out of the game. He'd run to the sideline, he'd hold his hand out and he'd say, "Fix this thing."
A guy broke through the line, hit him, pushed his head in the ground. He called the same play, let the guy come through and broke his nose with the football. I said, that's my hero. I dug him before that, but when he did that, I said, yeah, that's our leader.
Unitas' unimposing physique belied his skill for delivering a pass with astounding velocity.
I never realized how hard Johnny Unitas threw the football. I was a fastball pitcher, and I'm saying Raymond Berry went down to that 15-yard sideline, and the ball was on a string.
Unitas was a virtually flawless passer and an absolutely fearless competitor. He could throw a block as hard as he threw a pass. His enthusiasm for physical contact was one of his trademarks.
He was a guy who would hustle down the field to make a block. If somebody was chasing from behind, he'd cut you down. He played the game not just like a quarterback. He played it like a player.
If he threw an interception, he'd go after the guy. It was like, USOBU, how dare you do that? And man, there you see those high tops going across the field. He hit people. I mean, to tell you, he was a tough guy.
If you show fear, then you've lost your game. I never worried about that part of it. I figured I could stand in the pocket and they can hit me all day long. It's not going to bug me at all.
Unitas' warrior mentality was defined by a 1960 game in Chicago. With 19 seconds remaining, the Colts trailed by 3 points, and Unitas was battered by a Bears blitz. He suffered a split nose and a severely cut upper lip.
It was the most physical game I've ever played in. Little George got there just before I did and had him low, and I hit him high, and that thing went through and just cut his nose. We thought he was out.
I couldn't even look him in the face. It was so bloody. He reached down and got a handful of mud and dirt and stuck up his nose like this and packed him. He said, "I'll be okay."
John probably got scars on his face today.
He was a mess. He really got hit very severely, and his real blood.
You couldn't even look at him face to face, and you kept staring at the ground because he looked so horrible, like they stepped over his face, and on his face, blood squirting up. And Alex Sandusky reached down and picked up a hand of mud. He thought to pack his nose full of mud, we could stop it from bleeding, but his blood just kept coming.
Trainer wanted to take him out, and he says, you take me out, I'll kill you. They didn't take him out.
My nose was messed up, my face was bleeding, all that kind of stuff. That's no big deal. I mean, I don't throw with my face.
He wound up into a touchdown the next play to Lenny Moore in the right corner of the end zone. And it was quite a statement, wasn't it? Blast me in the nose, and I blast you in the end zone.
He endured a career-spanning assortment of injuries without complaint. During the 17 seasons that John Unitas played in Baltimore, the Colts posted the NFL's highest winning percentage. Unitas inspired the team with a terse but effective leadership style.
Before we would go out to play, the captains usually stood up and said something. And our defensive captain was usually Freddie Miller. So Freddie'd stand up, and he was an LSU guy, and he would give us an impassioned deal about how we had to go out and smash and do our job. And Unitas was just standing there with his little narrow shoulders sort of hunched up next to the door where you take the field. He always stood in the same place. And so Freddie turned and said, "John, you got anything to say?" He always said the same thing: "Talk's cheap. Let's go play."
He doesn't have to say a word. All he's got to say is, "Hey, follow me. We're going to go down the field and score." Man, he's done it too many times for me to call him a liar. I'm following him.
Out left, split right, zone pass, right, unwanted.
I mean, I look over there and there's blood all over his face and his nose is broken again. He just looks at me and he says, 79. I knew that meant 79 was the guy I was supposed to block. So I would say something like, I'll get him. The most dominating moment I can recall was him stepping in the huddle with a wide receiver who had run the wrong route and looking him in the eye and just motioning him to the sideline. He stepped out and he said, Shula, send me a receiver that knows the routes. Get him out. I don't want him.
He hit me right in my hands and I dropped the ball. Well, the whole place went ballistic. They were throwing things at my family, calling me butterflies. Got back in the huddle. Unitas said, same play, silence the crowd. I went 57 yards for a touchdown. It was John Unitas' way of saying, hey, I believe in you. Then he came right back to me.
My high school coach, Max Carey, said, look, you're the boss on the field. Now, when you come off the field, we'll discuss whatever we have to discuss. He said, I'm only saying one thing to you. He said, if you run this play or that play, you damn sure better have a good reason for it.
First play, split right. 40 series right. Second play.
John called every play.
Back draw.
They didn't send guys in with plays. They didn't have the microphones in the ear. We may have called 4 plays the whole year. John called each and every play. That's how intelligent he was, how smart he was, and he always made the right choice.
Unitas suffers almost constant pain from old injuries. He's had both knees replaced, and in 1993, he suffered a near-fatal heart attack. Yet, number 19 has stayed the course, borne the hurt.
I saw John, and his hand was arthritic. It was obvious that he was in pain, and I know John. John is a very proud man, and he doesn't like nobody feeling sorry for him.
He never complains, and if you see him, how you doing, John? Great, Billy. I'm doing great. Never felt better. Everything's okay.
John's just very quiet, is reserved, doesn't like to be high profile. Just does his own thing.
He's not one for too much BS, and or none at all.
Here's a guy who maybe off the football field is of average intelligence, average schooling, all of that, but put him on a football field and he becomes a genius.
He never changed who he was. He never became or tried to become something he wasn't. He was an incredibly gifted football player, but he was a regular guy.
Can you imagine, dreaming up this dream where you want to be a wide receiver in pro football? And then you get to be one, and you get to be one with John Unitas for 12 years. Are you going to beat that? You can't top that.
John's the real deal. So when the image matches the substance, then you have a John Unitas. And I think that's the reason that all of us who were in the huddle with him love him and admire him so much, because he was real and he was tough. He knew how to win. He cared about the team. All the stuff that we all love to preach about, he lived out as a teammate and a football player.
If I do my job and I call the game right, if I put the ball where it's supposed to, we're going to win.
I just enjoyed everything, the whole career that I had. I even enjoyed practicing, so that wasn't a chore for me. And I guess probably the most treasured thing that you'd have is the people that you met, not only in football but outside of football. And the fact that nowadays, if I'm walking down the street, somebody will come up and say, John, thanks. I say, what? Thanks for the memories.
Those memories are also milestones in American sports history. They were created by a common man with uncommon gifts. His name is Johnny Unitas.